Did you know that on January 20th, 2017, Donald Trump will be sworn in as president and receive the nuclear football? Hey everyone, Vixolent here. Now, since around 1962, there has been a mysterious black briefcase that has followed the president around everywhere they go. The contents of which are to be used by the President of the United States to launch a nuclear attack on another country at any moment. Since its creation, somewhere during the Cold War, it's been passed down from carrier to carrier on January 20th at high noon, as the President is sworn in and given a biscuit. Not that type of biscuit though. It's a plastic card that contains the launch codes, and somewhere during the Clinton presidency it was misplaced. They lost it. The launch codes. It's not something you really want to misplace. Now, to explain why that is such a big deal, in the most direct way, I'm going to start talking about supernovas. So, supernovas are some of the biggest explosions in our universe, and during a star's lifetime, it's constantly creating heavier and heavier elements at its core until it gets to around iron, and then it'll eventually go supernova. During supernova, there is a nuclear reaction that takes place called rapid neutron capture, and it is during this reaction the heaviest element in the universe, uranium, is created. Now, the uranium is shot out into space. It eventually clumps up into heavier and heavier pieces, eventually creating a planet, much like the one that I'm standing on, at least. Now, stored inside uranium is basically the energy of an exploding star. And depending on where you're living right now, the device that you're watching this video on might be run from the energy of a dying star, uranium. Now, let's say at least 50% of the heat emitted by the Earth is from radioactive decay, which I think is pretty crazy. But what good is harnessing the power of a supernova if you can't blow anything up with it? And that's at least what Julius Robert Oppenheimer was tasked to do when he joined the Manhattan Project back in World War II. Himself and those other involved went on to create the first atomic bomb. They found out that if you shot a neutron into the nucleus of uranium-235, it'll split and release its energy, along with 2 to 3 other neutrons that'll go on to do the same thing.
With a tremendous release of energy from that which held the tightly packed nucleus together.
The result is a chain reaction that, when done correctly, well, the resulting explosion is so powerful that some expressed concerns that it might set our atmosphere on fire. Luckily, after calculations, it was said that that was extremely unlikely. But I think that day we unlocked the keys to something that perhaps we shouldn't have. Now, I don't think anyone's denying that our species took a step too far when we started lobbing chunks of supernova at our enemies. To this day, only one country has used an atomic bomb against another. It's said that when they dropped Little Boy, only about 2 pounds of the uranium on board reached fission. And even Oppenheimer famously said,
"Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds." I suppose we all thought that, one way or another.
But bringing this all back up to today, I just think it's crazy that we walk around with the keys to the sun, and the fact that Clinton actually lost the biscuit, which was the key to all of that. I'll link to some videos below that are all about the good sides of uranium and what we can actually use it for productively. But until then, guys, like if you liked it, subscribe if you haven't though. My name is Vixolent, and I will see you next time. We've sent satellites out of our solar system. We've literally stood on the moon. All of this is awesome stuff that has come from science. So when people think of science as this boring classroom topic because they were forced to learn about it, I feel like the education system in high school science has really brought the awesomeness of what science is to So I think one thing to take away from this is that if you're watching this video and you have